This is a full breakdown of the proposed Washington Township Board of Education budget for fiscal year 2026 to 2027. We'll cover where every dollar goes, what it means for your property taxes, and when you can have your say. Here's the honest headline: we can't give you the big number because it isn't in the documents we were given. Washington Township's July and August 2026 board agendas list personnel moves, facilities bids, and policy items, but no total budget figure and no tax levy. That's unusual because by law this information has to be public. So instead of guessing, we're going to show you exactly where those numbers should be and how to go find them yourself. We can't hand you dollar amounts for Washington Township spending categories because they simply weren't in these agendas. But we can tell you what typically makes up the biggest slice. Instruction and classroom salaries, which usually eat up more than half of a New Jersey school budget. Employee benefits like health insurance and pensions tend to be the fastest growing piece year over year. When the real numbers surface, this is the category to watch first. One area where we do see real activity is special education. The July 28th agenda includes multiple extended school year, or ESY, tuition placements, plus some rescissions of previous placements. ESY is required summer programming for certain students with disabilities, so people can keep up their skills. Out-of-district special education tuition is typically one of the priciest line items in any New Jersey district, so these placement changes are worth watching even without a dollar figure attached. Two contracts stand out on the cost side. The district is soliciting a 10-month school bus lease, and a separate lease purchase financing bid appeared on the August agenda, which typically covers equipment purchases. Neither agenda lists a dollar amount for either bid. These are exactly the kind of contracts that show up later as concrete numbers in the district's budgetary line item status report. On the administrative side, both meetings include interim principal and interim assistant principal appointments, along with a steady stream of new staff hires ahead of the school year. Administration is usually a smaller slice of a district's total budget compared to instruction, but it's often scrutinized closely by residents. Again, no salary figures were included in these particular agendas. Rounding out the spending picture, the district reviewed a food service financial report, which covers a fund that's usually self-supporting through meal sales rather than property taxes. There's also a minor parking license agreement with a company called Roddy LLC. Neither item signals a major shift in the tax-funded budget, but they're part of the full financial picture residents can request. Here's what homeowners actually want to know. What does this cost me? Right now, we can't calculate that because the tax levy and average home value weren't in these documents. What we do know is that a resolution for requisition for taxes on the July 28th agenda confirms the district is already collecting its share of your property taxes under a budget that was adopted earlier this year. The exact levy and the dollar impact on an average home are public record, and the board secretary's office is required to provide them. Here's the tension in this story. New Jersey school districts are supposed to hold their budget hearing and formal vote in the spring, months before the fiscal year even starts on July 1st. But the only documents available for this report begin in late July. That strongly suggests Washington Township already adopted its 2026 to 2027 budget back in the spring, in meetings that simply weren't included in what we reviewed. One more important clarification. Most New Jersey districts, including likely Washington Township, don't put their budget to a public referendum vote anymore. As long as the district stays within the state's 2% tax levy cap, the Board of Education can adopt the budget on its own, after the required public hearing. The executive county superintendent still has to certify that the budget follows state spending rules before it's final. So how do you actually find these numbers? Start with board docs at go.boarddocs.com/nj/WTPS and search for meetings from March through May of 2026. That's where the real budget hearing and vote almost certainly happened. Every New Jersey district is also required to post a user-friendly budget summary on its website. And you can request the board secretary's monthly certification report, which shows real-time spending against the budget. Even though this year's budget hearing has likely passed, residents still have ways to weigh in. The August 18, 2026 work session includes 2 public comment periods on its agenda, and the board secretary's office accepts written comments year-round. But if you want real influence over spending decisions, mark your calendar for March and April of 2027, When the next budget hearing cycle begins, that's the moment your voice carries the most weight. That's the full budget breakdown. The complete written deep dive is available free at New Jersey Washington Town GTL, Substack.com. Subscribe so you never miss an update. And if you find this useful, a small donation at ko-fi.com/govthroline helps keep this reporting free and independent.